Hey y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 15, Episode 1. Now, from the previews to the new cast photo to the new backdrops, I'm really excited for this season. But I am going to have it at a cautionary expectation because you know, Potomac, they tricked us because that season, it was something. And I don't want to see nothing about Potomac until 2024. Now, before we get into the episode, you might notice I'm in a different part of my studio. I hurt my back this past weekend, so I have to sit on the bench. I can't sit on my regular seat because it's slanted. And look, I was reminded today that I am indeed approaching my 40s. So I'm going to be sitting on this bench until further notice. But yes, let's get into the episode. So we get a little preview of episode 1 and how dramatic it's going to be. And then they do a little Shonda Rhimes rewind to 4 days earlier. So we open at Sheree's mansion and this Martel gentleman is pulling up in the driveway. Now, I've said on Pop Roast and other videos that I have no idea about Martel. Alex has given me the rundown on his history and ninja behavior. He's from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Hell, I didn't even know where Huntsville was until the other day. I don't know, it just seemed like Sheree has a fetish for embarrassment and picking the wrong men. I'm thinking this is just for a plot line, but we shall see. For his caption, he's introduced as Sheree's boyfriend. He's giving a great value Morris Chestnut. Like, he's kind of easy on the eyes, but I'm guessing because of his ain't shit behavior that he's not attractive to a lot of you. So according to Sheree, he doesn't even live in Atlanta. He's still in Huntsville, and she's hoping that he moves to Alabama. Sheree also says, despite what you've seen on TV, he has been nothing but good to her. Okay, production, we get it. Martel, he's a good-looking black man. He has a nice body. I mean, so does Ralph. And look at him. He is the king of the ain't shit ninjas. So it looks like Martel is going to be Sheree's date to Sonia's husband's upcoming 40th birthday. She's giving him the rundown of who's all going to be there. She says Kandi, and then she mentions to him that, you know, she had a lot to say on, I'm assuming, Speak on It or an interview about Martel, saying he's an opportunist. Martel feels some type of way about that. I mean, I'm sure the truth hurts, but he says, oh, she must have forgot what an opportunist is. Her husband. Now, how I feel about Todd is whatever, but look, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Because we all, not just Kandi, clocked you immediately for being an opportunist. He then tries to throw shade at Kandi and Todd's height. Aren't they like 3 feet? And production, they're getting in on the shade too. So they pause the clip of Kandi and Todd, and it looks like Todd is 5'7", and Kandi is 5'3". And then they put in heels at the bottom. I mean, we all know they're like a short couple. They're like Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Wow, they're really trying to convince us that they're a real couple in this scene, just throwing out all the innuendos. And Sheree, by the way, like, I don't think she got any work done, but now looking at it, it's starting to look like she got herself a BBL too. I don't think she need one because Sheree always had a fit body. But her booty's starting to look a little bit too exaggerated to me. But hey, if it's real, congrats. So next scene, we're with Kandi and her candy-coated clique. Oh, and look at Carmen. Carmen is back on the scene. You know, we always see Donna Juana there. His messy ass ain't never leaving Kandi's side. Now, you know, we dealing with Kandi now, so now we gotta see what new business venture she's doing this season. And per usual, whoever's Kandi not getting along with, she gets her candy-coated clique to say what she really thinks. So immediately we know that Sheree and Kandi are not in a good place with each other. They're talking about Sheree's joke of a business, and then we cut to Sheree's confessional. Remember when the last reunion, when she said, oh, well, SheBySheree.com will be coming up right after the reunion, and the site crashed? According to her, she's saying that so many people rushed the site that it crashed. Sure, Jan. Kandi brings up a good point. Like, they have all tried to help Sheree and her business, but the problem is Sheree don't like to pay nobody. So Kandi's telling them that her son Ace is telling her that she works too much, and she's surprised that a 6-year-old notices this. Now we cut to Kandi's confessional, and Kandi, sis, what is with this afro? I mean, I know, power to the people, I love it, but this looks a little bit cartoonish on you. And you know what it reminds me of? I posted it on Twitter last night, but for the 80s babies and maybe 70s, like ABC used to have in the early 90s, like Saturday morning cartoons, and they had little inserts where it would be like, after these messages, we'll be right back. So remember, it was this trio and this woman with the afro. She reminds me so much of Kandi. Remember, after these messages, we'll be right back. I'm sorry, that's exactly what came to my mind. That is a deep cut. Anywho, also it is so crazy that little A sounds exactly like Riley was when she was a kid in the earlier seasons of Atlanta. Oh, and look who it is joining Kandi and her clique. It is Kenya Moore making her first appearance. She looks good, and y'all, I like Kenya these days. She hasn't been an asshole recently, so I'm here for her and her good shade. Oh, and Monyetta also makes an appearance. She's the friend of the show to Kandi. I feel like last season Monyetta was just there, so hopefully she stepped it up this season. Also, I want her to have a mind of her own too. Like, develop your own relationships with the ladies, because it really just seemed like you Kandi's sidekick, and she has enough of those. Who does Monyetta remind me of? You know what? She looks like Lily from SWV. Interesting. So the topic of conversation now is Kenya and her new boo she met through Monyetta. I think it was Monyetta's husband's birthday party where they met, and she's gushing about him in her confessional. I also noticed in this moment that, we all be shading Sheree and her choices of men, but Kenya has had like the same track record of ain't shit men. The next topic of discussion is Kandi's beef with Sheree and also Sheree's new man, because they have all the intel on his behavior around Atlanta. They're saying that the streets have been talking and he's been seen in Atlanta with other women that aren't Sheree. Then Kenya adds her little cherry on top, saying that Martel, I'm guessing before he met Sheree, was sliding in Kenya's DMs. And Kandi's eyes light up, so she says, oh, why don't you go back to the message? Go back to it. And it looks like, when you're in Instagram and somebody that you don't follow, they send you a message where, you see it under the request part. So she opens it and it looks like the message is gone, meaning that he deleted it. Well, all right, we are only 10 minutes into this episode and the shade is just prevalent. Okay, I am tuned in. Oh, I was just talking about shade. We cut to King's confessional. I'm guessing they're asking her, well, how come you didn't, hit up Martel? She was like, are you serious? She says anytime Martel looks at a woman, she come back pregnant. She then says, well, lucky for Sheree, she don't have any more periods, so she ain't got to worry about that. Kenya Moore, ladies and gentlemen. They're wondering, should they tell Sheree? And I'm just like, well, why would Kenya do that? I mean, it's not like, they have any history together. He just tried to DM her. And then Kandi not even fucking with Sheree, so why should she care? Oh, and here we go. I knew it. Kandi's new business venture. She says that Todd is writing scripts these days, and guess who he wants to produce it and fund the money? Kandi, of course. I mean, they're a team, and I expect that. But she says it's causing some tension between them when he tried to schedule it for a time that she couldn't make. So then, she's getting a little upset that, he's trying to make her out to be the bad guy. He wants to make me a problem, and it frustrates me. Oh, it's a sore spot for Kandi, making sure she's there for her family. Because all she's doing is providing. If Kandi was a man, it wouldn't be any issue, I guarantee you. I'm really curious, though, is there any check that Kandi will say no to? I don't think so. So next scene with Sonia and her family, and she's already doing some shameless promotion. She has the little hoodies that say bop, 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 or as she would say it, bop, bop, bop. I mean, I'm guessing it's cute, it's her catchphrase. Hopefully I like Sonia more this season. It just seems like, and this is no offense to her because I like her, she just seems like a fan that was cast on the show. And she's already choosing the wrong team. It looks like she's gravitating towards being on Marlo and Sheree's side. Anywho, she's in the kitchen talking to her family. She gives us the background because they all live in the same house. I think it is fascinating. Maybe it is her culture. If we have any Jamaicans or Islanders in the chat, please break that down for me so I can understand it. So it's her parents, her husband, their kid, as well as her sister, her husband, and their 2 kids. So it is 9 people in one house. I'm not sure I could do it. I could do the parents, but my sibling and her spouse and their kids, nah. But hey, if she like it, I love it. Of course, she's talking about throwing her husband's 40th birthday party. It's gonna be a Harlem Nights theme, which is basically, it looks like a Black Great Gatsby. Fine, but y'all know how I feel about Great Gatsby parties. She also has a lot to prove with this big event that's coming up because last season, she didn't do a good job of it. This party is going to be a bashing party. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so now Sonia's talking about the dynamics of her family and how she just hired her brother-in-law to be her assistant because being a real estate agent in Atlanta isn't working out for him. And we also find out that his wife kind of works for Sonia as well. Like, she's a hairdresser. She hires her to do her hair. In the beginning, I'm guessing when she was at the peak of her fame as an athlete, she hired her parents as her management. So it's a Kandi situation, but the family is all in the same house. Now her sister, she has a lot of mouth to say to be living under Sonia's roof. That's all it would have took for me to be like, okay, well, you know, you and your husband, he can have the time all he wants living in a house of y'all's own. So good luck with that, sis. I know she loves her sister dearly, so maybe that won't work for her. But her sister has a lot of mouth right now for the position that her and her husband are in. Nope, nope, nope. You ain't calling me a dingbat in my house. Not in my house. Whose name is on the deed? That's what I need to know. Are there 6 names on that deed, Sonia? Please let me know. I want to know whose name is on the deed. Because you won't be talking to me like that, complaining about me giving your husband a job so y'all can take care of y'all's kids. Now, wait a minute. Why her sister has a confessional? Is she the new friend of? And girl, your sister Sonia can come back at any time of the night she wants. And if she tells you, oh sis, I need you to cut this wig, you better get up and do it. Because she is financing y'all's lifestyle. Next scene, we're back with Kandi and her household. This time she's with Todd and the kids. Todd is at the computer writing his script, but Kandi's telling him, it's family time. Can you put the laptop down? Now, it's hard to focus on this scene because we're seeing multiple shots of Kandi and this afro in her confessional. Again, after these messages, we'll be right back. And side note, Kandi already gave us an update on her social media about the movie that Todd was writing during the season. They already finished it, and I'm sure y'all can expect it this year. Like I said, what new venture is Kandi doing this season? Okay, so next scene we're with Marlo, her first scene of the season. And again, I mean, it all looks staged. As she's coming down the stairs, her boys are making dinner for her. She's giving us an update on her custody of the boys, and she says their mother is out of jail, but has not contacted them since. So for now, those are her boys. Side note, Marlo, this confessional look, I mean, come on. Like the earrings, really, these cylinder-sized earrings are like this big. Like, who made those? Angel Brinks? A little later, Marlo has a life coach coming over for her and the boys. Okay. I think Marlo, it's more necessary for her scenes to be interesting. She has to be around the other ladies. Like, whatever's going on in her life, I mean, it's the same thing that was happening last season. Those boys are her plotline kids, and that's no shade. Ooh, this is a Best Fiends tea. I am not about to go through this session. Fast forward. Next scene, we're at Sheree's place again, and she's being visited by Sonia. Production lets us know that Sheree is wearing her own merchandise. I'm not sure if it's available. Probably not. But they're also telling us the price of this 2-piece jumpsuit she has on. It is $274. If she don't get the hell on, like, I don't even think Ivy Park is that expensive. Sheree is just such a scammer where you could get the same outfit, I guarantee you, on Fashion Nova or Shein for a quarter of that price. I'm guessing Sonia came to work out with Sheree, but meanwhile, Sheree gets another guest at the door and is the new friend of Courtney. And her and Sheree know each other because their kids went to school together. She looks a little bit like Toya from Married to Medicine. So they're all talking. It looks like Courtney's now invited to Sonia's husband's birthday party. They're asking her, does she know any of the other ladies? She says she knows Marlo. Kandi's name comes up and she says, well, I know of Kandi. We've been in the same circles, but here comes her issue with Kandi. She's saying that Kandi was wondering why Courtney said that she was friends with her, and asking a mutual person, why would she say that? It's all very confusing because it's off-camera shit, it's he said, she said, and it kind of makes her look a little thirsty. Courtney's now saying, well, why would I say that we're friends? Oh, and now we see that Courtney is actually a fan. She's like, well, what is she talking about? I mean, you are global, you are worldwide. Here we go, it looks like we have another LaToya on our hands. Or even Yavanna from Court ACU. Are we really surprised, y'all, that the friend of Sheree is trying to have a problem with Kandi? It's just so obvious. Oh, all right, Sheree for the shade. Cut to her confessional. She's like, the only time Kandi isn't talking about me is when she eating or sucking dick, but not in the locker room. Well, I guess we know now who wrote that anonymous note last season. Sonia's like, look, me and Kandi are great. That's between y'all. Lord, here we go with the Martel talk. I'm about to fast forward. And thankfully, next scene, it's the day of Sonia's husband's party. She gets there early to overlook everything. She's saying that the original budget was $40,000, and that definitely went up to $100,000. Sonia is definitely desperate to show these other ladies that she knows how to throw an event. We see some of the other ladies getting ready for the party. Kandi tells Todd, like, no pimp hat unless she want Marlo walking up to him for a job. All right, the shade has been on so far in this episode. We're with Marlo now, and it looks like Kandi has definitely been busy with her spoofs because all the ladies she's not getting along with are talking about them. Marlo then throws shade of her own, saying, well, stick to that, baby, because Broadway ain't working out for you and singing. Now, I don't know if that was a good read, Marlo, because actually Broadway is working out for her since she's nominated for a Tony. And singing, I mean, hey, she just had a spinoff that just went off Bravo about her touring with SWV. Now check that. Sorry, I had to. Okay, so the party is starting, guests are arriving. We see Kenya first, and she nailed it. She looks gorgeous. Black people know they look good in white. Damn, Kenya, more shade. Now she's talking about how Sonia, like the bar is low for this event, and then talking about her dry ass beef patties that she was serving last season. Next up, we see Ralph arriving, and you know, the brother's fine, I'll give him that. I mean, long as he don't speak, he look okay. Drew is nowhere to be found. Like, it looks like she's not coming. She has a family crisis, according to Ralph. Now, Ralph, if it's a family crisis, how come you're not with your wife? He's there for the screen time and probably getting a check for Drew on her behalf. And also, if y'all notice, Drew has still not made an appearance on the first episode. Production, now come on. Ralph has a confessional now? Who doesn't have a confessional? Who's next to have their own confessional? Marlo's boys? Well, all right, Marlo, I see you. She looks good. I love this look she has. We cut to Marlo's confessional, and it looks like she's being very self-aware this episode. She says she don't want no problems. She's just gonna be minding her business and gambling. And here goes Sheree walking in with her plotline boyfriend. Oh, here goes Sonia and her husband walking in. Her husband is fine. He really does remind me of, oh my God, what's his name? He was in Insecure for a bit. It's gonna bother me. Wait, let me see. What's his name? Oh, his name is Kofi Cerebo. He's from Queen Sugar, and he also made that little guest appearance on Insecure. I will say though, it's no shade, but I thought he was a little bit older than 40, but hey, anyway. So then we finally see all the ladies together, and they have a lot to say about seeing Sheree with Martel. King is like, why is he here? We cut to Kandi's confessional, and she's saying last year Sheree was with Mr. Community Service. Now she with Mr. Community Property. I think she wanted to say Community Dick, but she didn't want to go there. Okay, Sonia, 5 points for that. I love some involuntary shit, because I'm sure she didn't mean it that way. She said, well, he ain't got no ankle bracelet on. That's an upgrade to me. So we're back at the party, and Kenya, she's being very inquisitive to Sheree and Martel right now. We then cut to Sheree's confessional. The shade just keeps coming, y'all. She says, King, you need to stop worrying about me and worry about Mark, and if he's going to take more manner. If he's going to take more manner from you. Look, Sheree, she still will give a very shady confessional. I love it. And hopefully he adds faceboards. Oh, my poor back. I hope this is temporary, y'all. We cut to Kenya's confessional now, and she says Sheree needs her own spinoff. Watch me date these dumb dudes. And production, they get in on it, and they make a whole little place card with the logo at the bottom. So now we cut to Marlo talking to Courtney, and it looks like Sonia filled her in on what Courtney told her about Kandi going around asking about Courtney and why she's telling people that they're friends. It's just not really believable. Like, Kandi is too busy to be worried about an unknown like Courtney. So now it looks like she's going to approach Kandi at the party about it. Let's see how that turns out. So then we cut to Kandi, Kenya, and Monyetta all talking about Martel and if Sheree knows that he's dipping in and doing it around Atlanta. Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe they both just doing it for a plot line. We already know that Martel's an opportunist. Sheree will do anything to stay on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then recently we found out in real time that Martel and Sheree don't even follow each other, allegedly. And he was asked about Sheree in an interview, and I think he said that they were just friends. Look, I wouldn't even be surprised if we found out that they didn't even have sex with each other. Anywho, so now we see Sheree come up to the ladies and introduce them all to Courtney. But it looks like Kenya wants to talk to Sheree on the side, I'm guessing about Martel. So then they go off to the other side of the room. We're now with Marlo, Courtney, Sonia, and Kandi. And then we see Courtney now introducing herself to Kandi. Wow, so immediately off the bat, Courtney tells Kandi that she talked to their mutual friend and tells her what she said. Kandi looks confused. She does say that someone asked if she knew Courtney, but she said no. Courtney then says, well, yeah, someone said that you're going around saying that I'm saying that we're friends, and I don't need to. Do I look like I need friends? It just looks very thirsty because it's just such a non-issue. And why would that be the first thing you tell Kandi when you meet her? So I'm trying to find out, when does it go left? Because we saw in the beginning how Kandi was like, I'm a headbutt you. So I'm looking, and already we see Kandi just getting slightly annoyed by Courtney's energy. Okay, they're going back and forth now. Sonia's starting to look uncomfortable, and here go Marlo. She knows it. She wants to know what's going on. Meanwhile, we cut to Sheree and them, and Monyetta is telling her that, well, is your relationship with Martel, is it serious? Because, I've been hearing as well as Kenya, he's been dating other women in Atlanta. And y'all know Sheree, of course she's gonna put a poker face on whenever she's confronted with information like that. We cut to her confessional and she's saying, oh, well, Monyetta wants to have a voice now, and she didn't say 5 words last season. And I agree with her, like now Monyetta wants to show up for work. Okay, we're back with Kandi and Courtney going back and forth. And I kind of see Courtney doing this with her bird neck. And she's doing this to Kandi. And now the hands have been added to the situation. Candy's getting louder. So she's getting annoyed now. And I'm guessing it's because Courtney is a stranger. She don't know her like that. She's a little bit taller and she's close to Kandi. So, Candy's still from Atlanta. I'm not sure she's from Decatur, but she's definitely from Atlanta. And she might be channeling Kandi with the red hair soon. Oh boy, Candy's like, back. And then Courtney's like, well, you back. We then see Kandi, she looks in the other direction, I'm guessing to the cameras or to production, with a big Cheshire Cat smile, like, this bitch got one more time to try me. Sonia then steps in between the ladies to try to calm the situation down. So I thought in this moment that, the temperature has gone down the situation. Courtney says she accepts accountability, she apologizes, but then she says, well, I don't need the clout chase. She really is kind of a bird, isn't she? Kandi acknowledges that and says, there you go again with the head bobbing. What is that? It looks like it's being escalated faster now because Courtney, it looks like she's taunting Kandi. We cut to Marlo and she's like, Is this what it looks like when Kandi's mad at me? She is just ecstatic that for once, it's not her starting the mess. Ooh, Kandi's activated now. But you said you bouncing at me! Courtney responds to this by saying, well, calm the fuck down then. And I think she said, bitch, I couldn't hear it, but that's all Kandi needed to hear. She's like, okay, bitch. Like, that's when I think they hurried up to get between them, because I'm about to headbutt that bitch. We got a Kandi activation on the first episode. How about that? How about that? Look at that. Look, the friend of did the job. I mean, hey, is she thirsty? Absolutely. But did she cause a scene and give it to us and now we're entertained by it? Yes. Oh, and here go Todd now trying to calm down Kandi. Like, it is a situation now. We now then cut back to Sheree, and then now Kenya is telling her that Martel slid in her DMs. Now, Kenya, you did not have to tell Sheree that. That was a non-motherfucking factor. You shouldn't have did that. Sheree's then like, well, you know what? He's here. Let me ask him right now in front of you. I mean, what did Kenya think Sheree was going to do? Like, she's like, okay, let me call your bluff right now. Martel, come over here. So the credits rolling now, and then we see Sheree motioning Martel to come over here. Wow, we have two dramatic scenes going on at the same damn time. So then we see Martel walks up to the ladies, and then fades to black. We then get a fast forward to a clip showing what happens afterward, and then we get to be continued, and that is where the episode ends. Bravo! Bravo, pun intended. That was a good episode, y'all. A solid 9 out of 10, and you know why? I deduct a point because they were giving us so many clips. I feel like I already saw the whole episode before it aired. So hopefully for the next episode, they don't give so much away. Side note, did y'all notice that Drew was not in this episode at all? Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. I would love to know what y'all hear about the mess, concerning Kandi versus Pigeonhead Courtney, as well as Kenya, Sheree, and Martel with that drama. Please let me know. This was a really good premiere. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful, but come back to me at episode 6. And also, before I end the video, I got some breaking news while I was reviewing that Kim Zolciak has filed for divorce after 11 years with RHOA. I have a lot to say about this, and if I edit this video in time, I will be going live tonight after this video. So stay tuned, or tomorrow I might do that too. But anyway, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.